Hi there, my name is Nicole, and I'd like to welcome you to Naked Nikki. So, I've tried to do this with a teleprompter, and I have failed every single time. So, I'm just going to kind of wing it and have a few key things written down that I do want to discuss. But I want to introduce Naked Nikki and explain how I kind of got the concept to do this and what you guys can expect. The idea pretty much comes from working within the salon environment. I've been a hairstylist for over 20 years and an entrepreneur for the last 18. And as a hairstylist, we really are like therapists. So it kind of ties into the whole theme of Naked Nikki and, you know, meeting so many people in this line of work, you really get personal with them. And I always say, and anyone in the salon industry will say, being a hairstylist, you do have a tendency to be like a therapist. So I'm really excited to bring this new aspect to my career and um, start creating content with this idea. Basically, when I have a client in my chair, I mean, what are we talking about? You have people that sit in your chair and, you're talking about everything from relationships to family crisis. Um, you're celebrating milestones and you're just, talking about everything that goes on in their life. And it really brings you up close and personal to who is sitting behind within your chair when I'm behind the chair. And so, you know, where I really got the idea stemmed from me being divorced. And now I'm in my 40s. And being divorced, it's a whole new life out there in the dating world. Especially that I was with this person for a good chunk of my life in my 30s. I had met him when I was 31. So prior to that, dating apps were a thing. And, you know, I think it's grown in preference for how to go about meeting somebody. But, you know, every time I have a client in my chair, you're talking to them about, oh, so how did you meet your significant other? Or, oh, you have a date? How did you guys meet? It's always some app or, dating service of some sort. A lot of people, you know, tend to take that route, especially when they have a busy career. But, and there are people who meet in, everyday passing life. But the thing is that it's one of the most spoken about topics about meeting, how you met your significant other. So I got this idea because, there's a lot of things that we discuss when we're in a salon, and I'm sure everyone wants to be a fly on the wall. Well, this is kind of like an insight as to what it's like, having conversations within the salon. Um, but, I've always loved to make people feel happy and feel good about themselves and feel beautiful. And not just feel beautiful from an outside perspective, but feel beautiful inside too. Everybody's going through some type of shit, and whether it's relationship or personal, we all have these things that we need to overcome. And so I think a lot of the concept behind Naked Nikki is, you know, my process that I needed to take to heal from my divorce, which ties into my early life. I grew up with a divorced family. I was very young when my parents divorced. I was 5. And so I got to see many different relationships and relationship dynamics. I had my mom and my stepfather. I had my dad and my stepmother, my grandparents, and all my loved ones that were very close and had a very significant role in my life. I had a lot of examples to go by. And at a later point and later content within my Naked Nikki journey, I will definitely share more of that with you guys. But that's pretty much where I got the basis and how that all started. Now, I'm in my salon studio, which is Serendipity Salon, and I'm a huge music fan. I love all types of music, and I'm a huge movie buff. Yes, rom coms, obviously. Serendipity. That's how I got the name from the movie Serendipity. I have been an entrepreneur for 18 years, but Serendipity actually opened. Was actually formed in 2012, which was 11 years after the movie came out. Um, I don't know, from an early age, I've just been very intrigued by people and relationship dynamics, like I said. And one of the things that, you know, happened when I was young, my mom and my stepfather, they had a pretty turbulent relationship early on, very early on. And I remember as a child, they would argue into the late hours of the evening. And as a child, you need to go to sleep. So my brother and I, we used to listen to headphones at night before, like so that we would block out any of that noise and go to sleep. And I remember I was listening to the radio, and I remember listening to um, a segment on Z100 called Love Phones. So, for anybody who remembers Z100 back in the day and remembers that show spoke all about relationships and all about sex. And yes, there was no filter to it. It was definitely not something that I should have been listening to at a young age, but I mean, what are you gonna do? That was my little guilty little pleasure listening to that at night, just to, because I was intrigued. I was very curious. And so I guess that sparked my curiosity for sex and relationships. I don't know, here we are, I'm in my studio, and I feel like I can help each person that's in my chair look beautiful, feel beautiful, and try to give some advice. And you know what? I want to say that it's not always me on that end giving the advice. As hairstylists, we go through a lot with this job. Um, it's very physically draining from standing on your feet. And then it's also emotionally draining. You think about it, and we have all these different people, all these different energies coming into our salon. And, we tend to be people who are empathetic, who are empaths. And so it's hard. It's very draining on a lot of us. But on the opposite spectrum, it's the most wonderful thing, because when you get to speak with somebody on such a personal level, and there are times where you really do make a difference to that person, you feel really well. You feel like you've accomplished more than what you even set out to. And sometimes that happens where the client winds up healing you. But anyway, I don't want to ramble on too much about what Naked Nikki is all about. I want you guys to enjoy it and enjoy the content that I'm going to bring forward. I have lots of ideas for this. Yes, it's going to tie in my line of work and discuss certain aspects, and also hopefully interview some of my clients that will be brave enough to sit here in front of the camera. I do have a very special guest I will be airing that soon. I want to send out a huge thank you to the people that I did interview already. You guys know who you are. I'm really looking forward to posting that. I'm still in the process of editing and trying to get all my stuff together in order, but it's going to be really exciting. And I hope that you guys enjoy my journey and that you share in my journey. I'd love to hear any feedback. I am so open for any ideas or topics to discuss. But yeah, that's basically how Naked Nikki was, developed. I was going through a difficult time in my life with, the ending of my marriage. And so I really reflected in and I found a lot of interesting stuff, and I do want to share with you guys. And I hope that it could help somebody else out there. Anyway, ciao for now and enjoy.